Okay, welcome to another episode of Blank Canvas. Really great week behind us. We've covered a lot of ground. If you're new to this is a project around AI and accessibility brought to you by Plinko Solutions. Um, Today, what we'll be doing, just to kind of give you a quick little brief over. As you can tell, this is a bit of not a new setup, but a setup I know I wouldn't use. So forgive me on the audio, forgive me on the production side. But let's dive into it. So, so where we're at today, as of a week now, we've covered a lot in terms of the scripting and market research. We've looked towards Twitter, and again, far from complete from that series. We just planted the first 3 videos on this. So if you're interested in diving into this and kind of figuring out how to make the best utility out of it, highly recommend checking that out. We're also taking the direction for improving the YouTube side of things of scraping transcripts. And yesterday we left off on successfully pulling from 60 videos at the cost of 40 cents, running on a free plan. We were able to pull 60 different YouTube transcripts, and we're going to spend a bit of time either later today or tomorrow, just kind of showing you how we're using that for marketing assets and basically building an automation around it in a way that you can as well. Also note, in the past week, we've covered a lot of good ground in terms of branding and laying the groundwork for really what is this whole AI and automation stuff? What is it all about? And a large part of that is bringing in, community wins and new stuff that's happening, especially in the market with ChatGPT agent and whatnot. So next week, I'll be diving a bit deeper into both of these and also bringing this piece to life. So if you're new to this piece, this is essentially a marketing automation that allows us to use an iOS shortcut to scan any written material, turn it into a database that a language model can work with. It's around 80% complete, building in public, as you can see. So be really excited to kind of showcase that. And then, the idea is to bridge that into the full market offer of marketing automations as well as sales infrastructure and showing how that works in real time. So without further ado, let's dive into completing this piece here. I did want to do one thing. So a tool that I've been using throughout the week, I've kind of hinted towards it a few times, is Cluely. And they just recently came out with a good little update. Now, I'm not going to play the audio here, but
welcome to Cluely. We use AI to give you real-time information during meetings. And
I don't think it gives me a choice. Apologize for the volume on that, but in any sense, it allows you to essentially, now, it used to be part of their just separate paid platform. But the main one now allows you to have real-time summaries within meetings. So I'm yet to test this out. I'm excited to test it this week. But the idea is if you have this running in the background and listening during a meeting, it can generate real-time action points for you, things you can actually use. Cluely itself is I think 500K MRR. It's been around for like 2-3 months, so take that with a grain as you will. But it comes from essentially this engineering dude that used it to cheat in interviews. So now it's entering the marketplace with a bit of a different into it. So I'll be using this especially throughout our process and really, showcasing how it works. So let's close the tutorial now. Get me out of here. That's a new little tutorial thing there too. That wasn't there yesterday. Cool. Let's dive into this. So what are we doing? We're taking essentially the chunked transcripts, which is, as you can see, quite extensive. Let's see, it goes up to 70,000. Right. So as you can imagine, a language model chewing on that is quite the feat. So what we're going to do is we're just going to chop it up a little bit. We're going to turn it into different iterations. So there's a few ways you can kind of extract it straight from Appify. You can download it. However, if you export it as a CSV, you can tell there's a limit of 2,000. We're dealing at 70,000. So it doesn't really work. JSON allows us to kind of capture it all, and then we can kind of parse it and make sense of it. That's the one we're going to go with. There's also a native feature of Appify within make.com that we're going to see if we need to use it, but allows you to essentially pull from the data set. If it's quicker than uploading, let's see if it works. So dataset ID is found right over here. Shoot, go back here. There it is. That's the run ID, dataset ID is what we're looking for. You could find it. I didn't mean to click it, but if you go into basically your most recent run, all runs kind of come with it. Go into storage. It's right over here. So same little ID. We're going to take that, throw it into here, and we're going to clean up the JSON. So the limit in this case goes up to 100,000. We're looking at 70,000. So I'm just going to go ahead, do 80,000 for sake of purposes, and give it a run. See what it pulls. Got a decent amount of bundles. 61. Boom, perfect. So got everything. Really clean as well. So what we're looking for is the captions. So the captions is the transcript, right? It's a giant array, and we want to kind of chunk that out. We want to make sense of it. So there's two different tools I kind of go to whenever I'm doing data transformation. One is an iterator, one is an array aggregator. One, as you can imagine, is combining multiple pieces into one. The other one is splitting it up into different bundles we can work with. Now, typically, I kind of go back and forth between what I want to use and kind of test around. For our sake of purposes today, we're just going to go say, hey, I want to chunk 60 YouTube transcripts. Actually, you know what? Let's make this even better. Hold this. Take this giant output bundle. Just going to take a minute to populate. Actually, I think that's going to break if I copy that in. Nope, we're just going to have this open. It's one of the advantages of Cluely. Instead of having to take a screenshot, feed a context, I'm going to go ahead and just show it, So I want to chunk 60 YouTube transcripts, specifically from the captions array on make.com. What do I do next? All right. Now I could just go through the process of trying out different ways of splitting up the information and transforming it, but because I want to kind of showcase how you as well can do this without the 2.5 years of just iterating over and over on it, figured it's best to show you. So you're looking to do JavaScript. Let's do this without JavaScript. No code. Right, you could use JavaScript if you're familiar with it. Definitely, it's easier. Use N8N, I think, is a lot better for when it comes to code functions. Make.com kind of gets a little funny with it. They're very much like a no-code platform. And anything code-related, they start to cry. So errors just start to be a problem. But, it's definitely doable. Let's see what this comes up with. So it's pulling from the web. It's seeing what we can do with it. I'm already imagining that we're probably just going to feed this one by one, because how many lines is one transcript? It's actually substantial. Okay. We're dealing with 984 on average, give or take, right? Because, of course, varying lengths, this one, it tells you how long to. Well, it doesn't. Never mind. Regardless, want to be able to chunk it, make sense of it, make your real utility out of it. So, for our sake and purposes, see what Cluely comes up with. Now, I will say one thing about Cluely. As cool as a platform as it is, allowing you to kind of see what's going on without having to give too much context, it does hallucinate quite frequently and just kind of give you wrong direction, which is not uncommon for language models. I imagine that's going to improve with time, especially as I can update, what we're working with. So this is interesting. Tools, flow control, repeat. Like, there's no repeater. That's not. Oh, it is. There is. All right. So set repeats to initial value 50. I think it's 50. Right. I think that doesn't really make too much sense. You know what? I don't even fancy that. We're going to go ahead and just try this ourselves. I think it's faster. Go through the process. So let's test this out. We're going to try the first one is iterating, right? Working with an array. That is this bad boy. Collection. So let's see what cooks up. Run anyways. See what we get. We got 61 individual modules. And I think I froze it. There it is. So I will say, when you are testing like this, point out something. show you what the operations were like on that one. 63 operations, right? You get 1,000, I think, in a free plan, or 1,000 a month, 10,000 a month, something like that. I think it's 1,000 a month. But anyway, so let's see what we got from that. We were able to pull a good amount. Let's tuck this to the side. I will say Cluely is really great for, like, for example, I was troubleshooting OBS and this volume problem, which still is far from perfect. But it helped. I will say that. So I'll give it its flowers. Run it again, use up the operations because I have them, so I could show you what it looks like. It's definitely a hefty amount considering. So as you can tell from here, one, the audio needs a lift. Two, because of the 80-20 nature of the production on this, this won't be going in the playlist. However, the more times I build in public, the more iterations I have on getting this right. So this is also part of the process too. It's going over it time and time again and understanding that time over volume equals results. So that's the process, and you got to embrace it. As you can tell, with much sweat on me and looking like humidity is treating me wrong, seems to be something I got to put more time into, which is okay. That's cool. I won't leave you guys hanging. Like I said, in the spirit of building public, let's take you guys through what to look forward to for the week. So don't you worry. I'll be breaking this down and again, building in live without taking too much time. I did want to kind of point towards a few things. So I have a podcast with Julian Reeves called The Citizen Developer. We've recorded, I think, 4 or 5 episodes at this point. So those are coming out decently soon in the coming month. I'll give a preview in this coming week for one of those episodes. We talk about all things infrastructure related when it comes to AI, specifically when it comes to scraping. He's got a great background with Reddit. He started the subreddit Learn AI Agents, which is really cool. He's also big on Upwork, and we show kind of like how we've approached scraping that. And yeah, I also showcase how I approach the YouTube scraping thing in that preview video that's coming out. So really excited for that. I did want to point as well towards the later half of this week, we're going to be diving a bit more deeper into offer ideation, specifically for the, well, I'll be wrapping up that The World Has All the Answers project, which is that marketing automation repurposing thing. Taking that and then showing how we can bridge that into the hands of people that really need it. So doing a lot of active outreach in that is going to be really exciting, especially doing that live. You guys get to see how I kind of handle those conversations. And yeah, and that's kind of the spirit in building live. I think a good note to kind of leave this on. I met with a friend yesterday that I knew from high school, and he reminded me about this piece about intuition, which is kind of coming up a few times. And intuition often gets muddy when we get in the way, when our minds, our ego, our personality, it muddies the path, right? So being able to separate the volume and the reps and the actual work from your sense of self and sense of how you show up and your sense of self-importance is a process. And, you know, I'm welcoming that. I'm also doing everything I can. Well, everything I can, but I'm looking towards improving this whole setup. So audio will be better. The lighting will be better. The production will be better. The delivery will be better. The pacing will be better. All of the above. So super excited for that. Stay tuned. Catch you guys in the next one.